The Vietnam War, one of the most contentious conflicts in U.S. history, has long been shadowed by accusations of government deceit. At the heart of these allegations is the Gulf of Tonkin incident, widely believed to have been manipulated, or even fabricated, by the U.S. government to justify its entry into the war. In August 1964, two alleged incidents involving U.S. Navy destroyers and North Vietnamese patrol boats were reported. The second incident, which supposedly involved an unprovoked attack on the USS Maddox, became the basis for the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, granting President Lyndon B. Johnson broad authority to wage war in Vietnam. However, declassified documents and later admissions revealed that this attack never occurred. Evidence shows that radar readings were misinterpreted or falsely reported as hostile boats, and critics argue that the U.S. government may have staged or even struck its own ship to provoke a conflict. These suspicions are bolstered by knowledge of Project Northwoods, a declassified plan where the U.S. military proposed false flag attacks to justify interventions elsewhere, suggesting a similar tactic could have been employed in Vietnam. Smedley Butler's seminal work, War is a Racket, provides a framework for understanding the Vietnam War through the lens of profit and exploitation. Butler, a two-time Medal of Honor recipient, argued that wars are often waged to benefit wealthy elites, including bankers, industrialists, and arms manufacturers, while ordinary citizens bear the cost. The Vietnam War was no exception, becoming a massive boon for defense contractors like Bell Helicopter and Boeing, who supplied weapons and machinery, and for corporations like Dow Chemical, which profited from producing napalm and Agent Orange. Butler's warning that war is a machine for enriching the few at the expense of the many resonates deeply in the context of Vietnam. The Gulf of Tonkin incident provided the perfect pretext for escalation, but the true beneficiaries were not the Vietnamese people or the American public. Instead, it was the military-industrial complex, as President Dwight D. Eisenhower had warned, that stood to gain. The motives for this conspiracy are stark. Economically, the Vietnam War funneled billions of taxpayer dollars into the defense industry, enriching companies lobbying for escalation. Geopolitically, the war allowed the U.S. to secure influence over Southeast Asia's resources, including rubber and oil, under the guise of containing communism. Politically, the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution gave President Johnson near-dictatorial powers, enabling the executive branch to bypass Congress in matters of war. Evidence of intentional deception further underscores these motives. The Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, for example, was drafted before the incident even occurred, suggesting premeditation. Declassified CIA and Pentagon memos revealed internal doubts about the validity of the attack, yet the administration aggressively pushed the war narrative. Additionally, Operation Rolling Thunder, a sustained bombing campaign, began in 1965, well before significant congressional debate, indicating plans for escalation had been in place long before public justification. Viewed through Butler's lens, the Vietnam War exemplifies the pattern of conflicts orchestrated for profit and power. The Gulf of Tonkin incident, widely regarded as a false flag operation, was the spark designed to ignite a war that enriched defense contractors and secured U.S. influence in Southeast Asia. As Butler wrote, war is a racket, and the Vietnam War was no exception. The conspiracy raises profound questions about the true motives behind America's wars. Did the U.S. government knowingly sacrifice its own soldiers and destabilize a region, not for freedom or democracy, but for financial gain? While the truth may remain elusive, the patterns of deception, greed, and exploitation cast a long shadow over one of history's most controversial conflicts.